Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. Where's your witness?
In the evidence.
That's hearsay.
It's notarized.
I still say it's hearsay.
She's fair.
You're going to help these young men learn how to do this the right way.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's firm.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
No, I don't
Okay.
need to say anything else.
She's honest.
I'm not your child and I'm not your friend. That's the order of the court. Goodbye.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean.
All rise. Both parties, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Mablean presiding.
Thank you. You may be seated. In the matter of Dana Fernandez versus Audrey Douglas, I understand the two of you were friends at the time of this incident anyway. And you're suing her for $655, which is the cost of your plane ticket to Hawaii. And you're claiming that she got you there under false pretenses. And you say, Ms. Douglas, that no, at the time I asked her to come, I did because I needed a friend based upon what was going on with my mother. All right, so now let me hear from you, Ms. Fernandez, and help me understand why you think it was false.
It was false because I've been under her manipulation since we were kids.
Since you were kids?
Yes.
Manipulation by her?
Yes.
So you've been allowing her to manipulate you for 20 years?
Yes, Your Honor. It's called guilt tripping.
Oh, okay. All right. Explain that.
We grew up together. It wasn't until after college I started noticing some of her toxic tendencies. I wasn't allowed to go out with friends and date people.
I never told you you couldn't date people.
Do not interrupt, please. This is not a discussion between the two of you. You've been together, friends, a long time. You could have had all these discussions. Obviously, you've never had this discussion with her about your feelings that she's manipulative and has been manipulating you most of your life.
No, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's where you should have had a discussion with her about it. But let me hear what you have to say.
She would make me believe that if I left our friendship, that I was a bad friend. And it was all pure jealousy. She wanted the only friend that I had to be her, and I couldn't go out with this one guy that I really liked because she liked him deep down.
I did not like Jared, Dana.
Yes,
Are you really
you
taking me
did.
to court over
on.
Jared?
Hold on. I don't care whether you did or didn't. That's the second time I've asked you not to interrupt.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah. First of all, you don't even have a conversation about it. So what you're feeling about how she's manipulative and keeping you away from people that want her all to you, don't want you to have other friends, you've never expressed that to her, have you?
No, Your Honor, not until I brought up what happened with her mother.
So that's when you expressed it?
Yes, it was after their trip to Hawaii.
Do you know anything about her feeling that you want to keep her all to yourself and don't want her to have any friends but you? Has she ever expressed that to you?
She never expressed this to me during our friendship. Yet after the Hawaii trip, when we met up for coffee, she expressed all of this to me out of the blue and ended up breaking up our friendship.
Okay. So what happened in Hawaii?
Your Honor, the reason why this trip was planned out was because her mother was given less than a year to live. She was diagnosed with a brain tumor. This is where my therapy came in.
You finally got therapy?
Yes, I got therapy because I needed to fix issues that I had with Audrey. Me and my therapist, we both agreed that I need to take some time away from her. I need to set boundaries, and I need to find who I am as an individual and where my life stands outside of her world.
So you do admit then that it was you who were feeling that you had to be in her world, and you allowed her to, you went along with doing what she wanted you to do and allowing her to control when and where you did things and with whom you did it, your friends, where you went and what you did.
Yes, I was a very shy child. You know, growing up under her power, under her, it was all the spotlight was on her. She was the popular one, and I was the underdog. So she used that power against me to use me, and now she owes me money.
How did she use you? Tell me that.
She told me that her mom fell and hit her head in this Hawaii trip. She called me sobbing and crying, and this was guilt tripping.
Why was it guilt tripping when she says my mother hit her head, fell and hit her head? How's that guilt tripping?
It's guilt tripping because she knows that I am saving money. I live on my own. She doesn't, so she wouldn't know. She wouldn't know how expensive it is with inflation and how expensive it is to live in LA.
But you live on your own, so isn't it your right? She doesn't know your budget. She doesn't know how much your expenses are. She doesn't know how much your income is, right?
She doesn't.
So isn't that your responsibility to determine what you can and cannot do on your budget and with the money that you have?
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
And what did you mean when you said we'll figure it out?
We'd figure out everything later. I mean,
What is everything?
I thought I could compensate her in other ways, which I did.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Dana Fernandez, who is suing Audrey Douglas for travel expenses.
You looked up the cost of the trip,
Yes, I did.
and it was not within your budget,
Not at all.
but you felt that you should go.
Yes,
And why did you feel that you should go?
because I am a supportive friend. I have to be there for her.
But why do you have to be there for her if it's going to hurt you? Did you talk to her about the cost?
I did.
Okay. And what was your response to her telling you that the cost was excessive
I told
and
her
went
we would-
over her budget?
I told her we would figure it out.
And what did you mean when you said we'll figure it out? Because you figure out how she was going to get there, or figure out later?
I thought I could compensate her in other ways, which I did.
And like what?
She ate for free, she stayed there for free, she went on excursions with us for free. Everything in Hawaii was paid for her.
Your Honor,
So you said to her, but that's not figuring out airfare and figuring out. She said that airfare was too much.
Well, she didn't pay it with real money. She used her miles, so I figured it wasn't that big of a deal.
could have used those miles.
Oh, do you
for
think that
something
using
else.
miles is not real money and that big of a deal? You don't fly.
Well, she flew there, so it must have not been that big of a deal for her.
That's because she was able to use the miles that she had. But it meant that those miles that she had could not be used for something else, in case she had a true emergency of her own.
I believe in that moment she could have communicated that to me if she really couldn't come.
She said, I can't afford it, this is too much.
Right, and then when I responded that we'll figure it out, she said she would come.
Is that right?
With the guarantee that she will pay me back.
What did she say? Did she tell you I'll pay you back?
I have evidence, Your Honor.
Okay, send me the
I never
evidence.
said I would pay you back.
So did you use your miles or did you use cash money?
I used my miles, but those miles,
I know exactly what those miles mean. I play the miles game. I do. As a matter of fact, I'm real good at it, but I ain't gonna call the airline name. But yes, I know what the miles mean, but the miles, don't dismiss it. The miles are money. Until you spend the money to buy the airline ticket, to fly, to get the miles, you don't get the miles. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So those miles are money. It costs you money to get them, and you lose money when you use them. Don't dismiss it so nonchalantly. She just used miles. That's a lot. That means a lot. Those miles could be a ticket that she could go somewhere in emergency.
I thought this was an emergency.
In her emergency, for herself, her own emergency. It could have been miles that she could have used in her emergency, but once she used them for your emergency, they're gone.
My mother was like a mother to her as well.
Obviously, she didn't see it that way. And even if she saw it that way, do you know brothers and sisters, siblings don't always see it the same way in terms of urgency of the sickness of a parent? They don't always deal with it and handle it the same way. She has to consider it an emergency. When you realize that that was costing you your miles and you had to use those miles because you didn't have the dollars, and that would impact how many miles you had left on your account, it was up to you and you alone
Your
to decide to use it. Now, why did you decide to go, even though it was not within your budget and even though you had to use your miles? What prompted you to go?
That is how much I care about her.
Okay, so it was your love and care for her and her mother?
Yes.
She said her mother was like a mother to you.
Yes, I grew up with them both.
So you love the mother as well?
Yes, I do.
And that's why you decided to go?
For them both.
Okay. But now you want her to repay you?
Yes, because from the start, that's how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to be paid back. She never paid me back.
Okay, now you said these texts were supposed to tell me that there was an agreement to pay you back.
Yes.
I'll do whatever it takes to get you to Hawaii. I need you now more than ever. It's my mom's head. I don't know what to do. You said, oh my God, I'm looking at the flights now. There's $700 if I leave tomorrow. Who cares about the money? This is my mom. We'll figure that out later. Okay? So you didn't want her to be concerned about the money. You needed her there then. So there was nothing else said about it before you went other than we'll figure that out later.
There were a couple phone calls too.
And when those phone calls, what was the conversation in those phone calls?
I was trying to be sensitive to her. I know she was in a sensitive state of mind with what happened to her mother. But I still had to draw the line somehow because at the end of the day, I have to worry about myself too.
Okay.
And this is what it came to.
So what did you say?
I said, Audrey, I know I keep asking you, but when are you going to pay me back?
No, I mean before you went. Did you ask her when was you going to get paid back?
I didn't. I didn't
Okay,
want
that's
to
what I'm
ask her
saying.
right
When she
away.
said we'll figure that out later, what was your response? To go on and buy the ticket and go? To use your miles and go?
I didn't know when she was going to pay me back, but it's been 8 months.
Okay, what was your response when she said we'll figure it out later? You decided to use your miles and go anyway,
Yes.
not knowing when or if you would get paid back, right? Because she said we'll figure this out later. She didn't say how you figured out, right?
Coming up,
What was going on with your mother?
1.5 weeks into our trip, she fell on her head.
So her equilibrium and
It
balance
was
was
a
off?
minor concussion.
A minor concussion. Dana, she had a brain tumor.
you're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Dana Fernandez, who is suing Audrey Douglas for travel expenses.
So let me go to you now, Miss Douglas. What was going on with your mother?
We were on this Hawaii trip to celebrate her life because she had been diagnosed with a brain tumor and they had told us that she had 1 year to live. 1.5 weeks into our trip, she fell on her head.
She fell on her head and she hit her head.
Yes.
Okay. How soon after she fell and hit her head did you call the defendant?
When I got to the ER.
Okay. And after that concussion, how many days lapsed before the plaintiff came to Hawaii?
She came the next day.
Okay. So now, when the plaintiff arrived the next day, what state was your mother in?
She was much better. She was up on her feet, but like we were still taking it easy. We were just hanging out by the pool in the hotel.
Okay, so when you got there, you saw that the mother was up and about, sitting by the pool, relaxing. What did you decide to do?
I let them have their fun, but I knew right when we got back to LA that I was going to claim my money.
When did the fun start?
They went to the beach, they went out to restaurants, and
How many days did you stay there?
I stayed 4 days.
And during those 4 days, you all went out. Did you go to the beach with them?
Yes, I did.
And you went to restaurants?
Yes, I did.
And you ate meals with them?
Yes, they covered all living expenses.
So they
Your Honor,
covered all of your expenses while you were there the 4 days.
except the flight.
That's what I said, all of your expenses while you were there.
Coming up,
Why'd you say 4 days? Why'd you come back?
Because she needed me to be there even though her mother was okay after this incident.
Her mother was not okay. She's diagnosed with a brain tumor.
you're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Dana Fernandez, who is suing Audrey Douglas for travel expenses.
Instead of staying 4 days, why'd you say 4 days? Why'd you come back?
Because she needed me to be there even though her mother was okay after this incident.
Her mother was not okay. She's diagnosed with a brain tumor. So even though she fell and the concussion may have been gone, she still had the brain tumor, which was limiting her ability to do things. So her mother was not okay. She didn't get well from the brain tumor, did she?
No.
So she wasn't okay, right?
Right.
Okay. So wasn't the part of the trip is because I'm trying to help my mother enjoy life? Weren't you a part of that and helping her enjoy whatever limited days she may or may not have had, though, because doctors don't really know, but weren't you in tune to that as well?
Yes, I was, but I had other things to worry about.
So why didn't you just leave?
It was a conflict in my mind between going back to LA and doing the things I had to do and supporting my best friend. And
so why do you think she owes you for that? Because you didn't have the courage and the strength to say, I can't come. Yes, best friend, I understand mom is sick, and yes, I feel that you're pain, but I can't afford it. And unless you buy this ticket for me, I can't come. So why are you angry with her? Because you didn't have the strength to say that. You control your pocketbook. You control what you can do with your money.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
When you got back to LA, what was going on with your mother's condition then?
She was put into hospice.
When you returned?
As soon as we got back, yes.
Okay. And during that time, you were still asking for your money?
yes,
Because I see text that says, seriously, Audrey, I spent hundreds of dollars on this trip. When are you going to pay me back? And your response was, I can't believe you're seriously talking to me about this right now when my mom is in hospice. Show some respect. And God help me, because now it's about to bother me. And my mother has been diagnosed with an illness. And now she's fallen and she has a concussion on top of that brain tumor.
and I was there for her. I was,
Right. But that's what friends do. But I know from experience that when you give to people from your heart, it'll come back to you. The two of you have a long history, and you have a long friendship that you should not allow to be destroyed over this. And just like she needed you then, the day her mother fell, she still needs you. She's still grieving her mother's death. She still needs a friend. You guys should put this behind you, okay?
okay.
Judgment for the defendant. Do something nice for your friend. You gotta forgive, both of you. Forgive each other, forgive yourselves, and try to work this out. And if your therapist isn't telling you something about the art of forgiveness, then you need to get a different therapist, okay? Judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I still need time away from you, but I do wish you the best, and maybe we can come to a conclusion.
I hope you get a new therapist.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.